Yep, it did it again. So odd. As soon as I hit record, it like dumped the exposure off. Now we're good. That's why
I wasn't going to start.
All right.
Welcome to the Steak Knife Show.
Yep.
I don't know what episode this is. It's the Easter episode.
Sure.
It's not going to drop during Easter, but that's
going to be in like August. It's like we're
God,
yeah.
I didn't know we were that far out. Why the fuck are we doing this?
Because this is how you stay ahead of content. And this is how
you guys let us know if we're making real content. It literally just feels like my friends like, we're going to talk and record it because it's kind of cool.
So this human being over here doesn't understand how time and skill acquired works, even though he's been in a skill acquired he has 2 black belts, and both require massive amounts of time to get your black belt in.
I was just here for the vibe.
Eventually, you got your black belt.
Yeah, but like that, you have to give it when you have that much time in. It didn't make me any better at either sport.
I didn't say it made you any better. It's about the journey.
Is it? Because I still suck at grappling. Like, I'm still the worst.
I mean, I suck at grappling too, so same boat.
Is that what you do? Do you grapple?
Yeah. It's more like dead fish.
I was going to say survival.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, it feels like like if I ever had to describe rolling with you, it's like watching an astronaut in space explore thinking that he's safe. Like, you don't bite on anything. Like, you still, like, you move better and better. Like, you get better body control. But, like, there's no danger. And, like, you're like, I'll be fine. Like,
ignorance is bliss.
Exploratory rolls.
Yeah.
Got it. What is it? Keep it playful?
Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
And that's the episode. I'm just kidding.
That quick and easy. What did I do? I was playing Marvel Rivals earlier. I listened to your most recent one with Cheney.
Uh-huh.
I honestly don't know what you guys were talking about. But you guys looked like you were having fun. You guys, what were you guys talking about?
Like
Dumpster Fire Dialogues, the other thing on the 57.
Well, we were talking about like organizations that get so large they fail.
You guys were talking about it here in like in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
The one that you guys didn't throw out, Judo.
Yeah.
Judo is now has like gutted itself in such a like
they
as
took
a
the
sport.
legs out.
Yeah, they took. Dude, I was there I had moved to Columbus, and I was there the year that they took out leg attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched my sensei, like, he was trying to play by the rules, like where you had to combo into it, and they DQ'd him, and he like read the rules to him, and like these, like it. Horrific, and I get it. You want these big, pretty judo throws, and you don't know how to beat wrestlers because you refuse to learn Tomoe-nage or Newaza. Like, guys, like, America is now known for Newaza, which is hilarious. Like, if you don't know what Newaza is, because I'm speaking Japanese, Judo, when you go for a throw, if you don't throw them flat on their back, you have 7 seconds to pin them, which a pin in Judo is 20 seconds, where they don't have a guard, or submit them using an arm lock or a choke. America...
Mm-hmm.
has perfected getting to the ground and finishing. Like, we were always called the copycats, right?
Yeah.
When Cuba did the pistol grip, we stole the pistol grip.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to emulate the Japanese, but they have such good posture, and it's their sport.
Yeah.
They're very proud of it, and it's very pretty. The Mongolians have the big Mongolian grip. Britain is like, they have a very like proper style, and they combo a lot.
Okay.
But like, we didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did is you got the Dan Severns who like couldn't wrestle anymore, so they switched to judo.
Yeah.
And they were just muscling people. Dan Severn actually has beautiful judo. Like, I actually was lucky enough. Luke Zachridge brought him in and did like a giant MMA seminar. And like Dan Severn's stories, just of transitioning from wrestling to judo. Then you have people like J Flo who like has a perfect blend of wrestling and judo and is. God, like every time I get to be around him is amazing. But like, again,
I was gonna say having taken one of his seminars and like talked to him a little bit, like his like true blend of like wrestling and judo and like just grappling in general. I wouldn't even say like just a specific art.
And then you only talked to him about like just in this open world stuff.
Yeah.
Watching him teach MMA fighters judo for MMA. Jesus, like when he was working with Patty the Batty and I forget her name off the top of my head, Gorilla, the chick who challenged Ronda Rousey and dislocated her mouth, Ronda's mouth because she had a bulldog choke. And then there's another Kat Zingano. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. But we're talking about gutted things. Like Taekwondo was a big thing where you guys said like
we did say
you
Taekwondo.
could see like every corner at a Taekwondo or Kenpo or karate and like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you said it best. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're going to go fight somebody every day at 100% at schools that allow it.
Yep.
And that is the true the rolling is the true beauty of Jiu-Jitsu. And it's the reason that Jiu-Jitsu will always be king. The king of striking arts is always going to be Muay Thai, in my opinion. Boxing's great. I love boxing. I have fallen in love with boxing the last year or two.
Yeah.
And I religiously go every week. I don't do Muay Thai anymore because it's hard on the body. But you want to learn how to destroy somebody with every point of the body in a striking sense. It's Muay Thai. And everything has its place and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But, like, I thought that was hilarious. In between rounds of, like, dialing into what you guys were talking about.
Well, yeah, like, what do you okay, like, judo, like you said, like, because they took out, like, leg attacks or, like, throws or takedowns from the legs, like, it was destroyed. What's your opinion of wrestling? Like, I think, and I'm not saying it was, like them taking away, like, the catch-as-catch-can aspect of it, but, like, that's different. Like, I feel like wrestling hasn't totally annihilated itself in some ways.
Wrestling, and so here's the it's paradoxical. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm too stupid to use these $10 words. Wrestling's very strange because wrestling, especially the wrestling you learn in grade school and high school, folk style, teaches you how to grind.
Yeah.
Like I've watched mediocre wrestlers, like very bad wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, they never did well in high school or anything. Win like 4 or 5 cage fights.
Yeah.
Because somebody goes in there to bang, they have a wide stance that you time it. You don't even have to time it. You can just run somebody over, and then because you're dogged with it, and that's why wrestlers are tough.
Yeah.
Like even when you're getting your ass whooped and you lose every round, wrestlers are tough. It is hard to break a wrestler. Even the worst on the team. Like as long as they show up and they show up to practice, they are becoming gritty, and that's why it's always hilarious to me. And like because wrestling again has a big fall off. If you don't make it to college or you fail off the college team, there's no real place to go wrestle anymore, right? So we invariably welcome you into the jiu-jitsu world.
I was about to say there is now. They do jiu-jitsu.
And you're a problem for white and blue belt. And then I try to warn them. I try to warn them like from the jump. Hey, I don't need you to show me you have takedowns and that you can hold side control. I need you to every match find a way to pull guard in an effective manner. I'm not like pull and dead fish. Pull and sweep. Pull and sweep, and then let them sweep you back and fight. Create a guard, right? Because, and then we'll hone that stuff up, the stand-up stuff. Like we'll dial it back in, come competition. When you get to purple belt in jiu-jitsu, especially competition, they don't care about your takedowns, and your side control no longer matters because they are really good at getting back to a guard. And you don't want to be a purple belt wrestler who didn't learn the bottom game or understand the finesse of it. And so the problem with wrestling is there's no finishes.
Yeah, and that's what I said.
But
like they took all the finishes out. Yeah.
You can control them.
Yes.
And so like even though it's a 3-second pin, getting out of a good wrestler's side control, it's hard, and you work hard at it. Even at black belt, a good wrestler can hold you down. But on the flip side of it, you want to talk about true pinning with evil intention?
Yeah.
A judo player.
Oh yeah.
A judo player whose school practices their pins.
Yeah.
Because like they are used to fighting off the legs and the guard retention, and they make you suffer. Like that is horrific. Wrestlers hold you down, and you exhaust yourself trying to get back up. Judo people try to kill you. And like, but I will say, man, like I used to believe the old adage, like an average judo player could beat a good wrestler or a great jiu-jitsu player.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore because judo has truly like gutted itself. Like, and I'm being nice. And I don't know why I'm being nice. I guess just because like I'm a judo black belt. Like I honestly, as one, like judo's really castrated itself. You're one step closer to Aikido, which is just a performance art. And if you can hit real ones, cool. But like,
well, it's like I asked you, like, should I take judo, and you were like, meh.
You should take judo from people who are
like who don't tell me to compete in that style of judo, like compete in like people that teach leg attacks and stuff like that.
Well, you should
like takedowns.
You should take traditional judo, like
Yeah.
that has leg attacks and has. I mean, De La Riva guard. I think the first time the De La Riva guard was ever captured on camera is from some judo demonstration. It wasn't De La Riva in Brazil. It was some Japanese guy who got thrown and was playing De La Riva.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is ever new, right? Like,
Nope.
it's just rediscovered, and like, it's a really good feeling. I thought I did it with a choke that I named the Raikiri. It's called the gun choke. It's not that fancy, but like, no one taught it to me. I just found it. Doesn't mean that I made it. It's just I gave it a name. Same thing that like the only ones that I've ever seen that have truly like come up with some stuff that I've never heard of or seen was like 10th Planet, and it's all flexibility. Like I can't do any of the 10th Planet stuff. I can't even mildly describe it. Like
you're talking about a lot of their like rubber guards and like weird stuff like that, like where they bring their legs forward.
Like I mean, and I'm not discounting it. I'm jealous. I'm just too stiff. Like
that goes back to it's an art. So the individual matters. Like there's all these subsets of like the art, and like 10th Planet is a subset.
I guess that's the true thing that I think I fell in love with the most in jiu-jitsu. I used to ignorantly think it was MMA, but like jiu-jitsu is the one that I feel like really allows you to. Here's all the words, and you can write your own book.
Yeah.
MMA. There's a couple of MMA fighters that I talk to weekly, and I'm like, why is it when you're doing MMA, you're either striking or you're grappling or you're doing cage work? Like, you really seem to struggle to like blend it together. Like, that's the secret is you have to be able to wrestle as you kick. You got to be able to ground and pound as you pass. And like, and I don't like you've thrown around the term fight IQ. I never really heard that outside of Dominic Cruz, but like, you have to have this ability to creatively play through styles and like not adhere to anything. Like the age old adage of like no plan survives contact with the enemy. And like you've been like, I remember my coach was like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna jab, switch step, cross counter.
Yeah.
And it just like the first attempt, the second I went for it, I ate a full on power punch to the face, and I never went back to it. And he just kept screaming for it.
Yeah.
And like, there was I knew I'm in there fighting and it's not going to work, but we didn't train for anything else.
Yeah.
So I had to be like, I'm feeling it out. And it's a terrible place to be. But I will say like, if you got to like create a character, I would take the ability to adapt on the fly over anything else. Like, ability to adapt on the fly in like a gas tank, you can survive and problem solve a lot.
Well, I think that's probably like adaptability in general. Like you have fundamentals, of course. Like they're like, oh, I know I'm here, so I need to do this. But you're adapting to like that problem. And then like you said, like the ability to blend styles. And like there are some people who can do it. There are some people who can. One of my
like a good like John Gunther. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. He's a Ohio fighter here. He's called the Machine because he is one.
Yeah.
But like it was always like I openly and I've said this to his face. I don't like if he wants to come beat me up. You could. We all know you can come on through. But you've done it before. But like he was a switch. It was the light switch. Up was striking. Down was grappling, and we almost couldn't get him to ground and pound. If he was grappling, it was jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And wrestling. If it was striking, it was decent striking. It was good striking, but there was no blend. And I just looked at him one day after getting my ass whooped
by him.
But like that was the weird one. The first couple of ass whoopings were complete grappling ass whoopings because I kept my shield up because I kept waiting for a punch to come and it never came. I just got choked out. Like, and I was like, what? And I looked at Josh and said, did he throw a punch? No. Why won't you? Like, you're not doing this right.
Yeah. You're like mixed martial arts.
Yeah, but it was truly like just martial arts. This is grappling and this is striking, and we're not mixing the two.
Yeah. I brought all my buckets to play.
He had a plate that had the plate that had the dividers.
Yeah, I mean,
but in terms of like, let's make this, because steak knife is all about like tactical stuff. you can easily translate to like fight IQ. Like in the middle of a hyper crisis where you have shown up and a person walks out of their house with a baseball bat and is approaching you, you now have like a drop down box. Do I do taser? Do I do baton? Do I back up and give space? Do I violently close the distance? Do I draw my gun? Like, how much training do I have? Am I tired? Is this the 11th hour of a 12-hour shift?
It depends.
It depends.
It depends.
And you better take your training absolutely seriously.
Yeah.
And not be like, yeah, I did my 2 weeks in police academy. Or if you're at a better police academy, like, we trained every week. How much training have you done since you became a real cop?
Did you continue to train every week?
Are you that tired? Yawning?
It happens.
Does it? All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's not you. It's me. Literally, I'm just.
I know.
I'm kinda
This is
tired,
actually
yeah.
something you and I talk about
Yeah.
to death. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but like you should train in something that is viable, and really it's jiu-jitsu. Like, and jiu-jitsu is so popular now. Like you guys, like again, the dumpster fire dialogue said, like, there's jiu-jitsu everywhere, which is also a problem because it has already kind of gone the Ameridote route. There's a lot of
that's I truly think if you're, I think I probably have said this, so I don't care that I say it again, because if your gym does not encourage rolling and takedown, like live rolling,
takedowns, leg locks,
like the complete picture of what is out there, find another school.
Yeah.
Like, unless that's it, unless that's the only one there in the area you're at, take it, and then when you move, inevitably move to a place that has a better school.
The oversaturation one, a good example was the UFC gyms that came out right before everybody got kind of like the UFC kind of stalled out for a little bit because it was just oversaturated. That was where they were doing fights almost every weekend.
Well, the other thing too with that is, like, the average person does not know how hard it is to train for a fight like that.
No.
I'll never forget, I went to where you have your black belt from one day. This was years ago, before I ever started training. It was when I first got interested in training. I went, and then I got really sick after training. It wasn't the gym. It was me. It was because I had been other places. So I walk in to Ronan, and I go to the counter, and this small, tiny dude comes up and speaks little to no English, goes, I want to train MMA. And the dude behind the counter, I don't know who it was, he's probably still there, was like, what else do you train right now? And he said, nothing. And the guy goes, nah, bro. He's like, pick another art first.
It was probably Ryan Benedito.
It wasn't Ryan, because I would know. I would remember that. Now that I know Ryan. It was somebody else, and I don't know if he still goes there, but the guy was like, and he wasn't being rude to the guy. And I was in my head, I was like, I'm in here just to, like, see what jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah.
Like, and this dude's like, MMA. And they
You
were
get a
like,
lot of that,
nah.
though.
Like,
I mean, your Endeavor's not not an MMA gym, but I can't tell you how many times, like, I've been there, like, getting ready for training, and somebody walks in there, like, I'm here to UFC. That is an organization. That is not a sport. And then, like, there is beginner MMA
now,
but
I don't think there was at the time.
And
This was like 7 or 8 years
ago. It's not invite only.
Yeah. But I'm glad that they have beginner MMA, because then you don't, like, if there is somebody who may have, like, the grit to, like, get through it, you may actually have, like, somebody out of that.
You want to talk about one of the craziest kind of, like, J hooks ever? We had one of the best wrestlers I have ever seen come in and start doing MMA.
Yeah.
And he just, like, he was good, but, like, if you had some jiu-jitsu, you had some striking, you could handle him. That kid sold his life to Muay Thai and is now, like, fought in front of the king.
Like that.
Yeah, like, he's amazing. He's and, like, he comes back and, like, runs good camps. He set up, like, a cross training in Thailand for our guys. He's so good, and that all comes.
That's
from,
an interesting like.
He went from high level wrestling, tried MMA, and then he is one of the best Muay Thai fighters. Like,
interesting.
It was so good, and that all comes from Coach Boggs not Coach Brett Boggs from Grove City. Coach Aaron Boggs at Ronan is our Muay Thai coach, and the kindest human being next to Brett Boggs.
Yeah,
Two,
that's really
one
funny.
of the most dangerous men I have ever Like, you can just tell. Like, whether you
I
train
met
or
him
not.
like once.
Super nice, super
Very
sweet
nice,
dude.
yeah.
Like, but like he runs, like, we are one of the best Muay Thai programs, I would say, in the country. And like, it all comes down to Coach Boggs.
Yeah.
And like, it's really like, our Muay Thai guys are all savages. Even
Yeah.
the ladies, like, we have a ton of lady Muay Thai fighters, and they are savages. And they rival our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program at Ronin. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember when you got promoted to black belt, we walked in there and there was like 150 people behind us doing Muay Thai. Think about that. This is a gym in the middle of
Columbus.
like a suburb of Columbus, and like you walk in and there's just like there's 100 people there for jiu-jitsu and your promotion. And then behind that, there's another 150 people just throwing kicks, and like you couldn't hear anything that was happening on the mat where we were at.
Yeah, you couldn't hear the
Yeah.
speech
Nope.
that Vitor gave and that I gave, because there's just this thunderous kick on
You just
pads.
in the background you hear, and then up in the front you hear.
I didn't cry.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't
was
cry.
there. You did.
Did I cry?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Wept like a baby.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that. I know my speech was pretty good.
It was. You cried during your speech. You
Did?
like a little choke up. I'm just.
I
It's all
worked.
right.
I worked really hard to get my black
You
belt.
did. I'm not insulting you. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
I
like,
don't
this
remember
is
that.
what you did.
I just remember the.
Yeah.
I just remember the picture where I look like the super short
Yeah.
dude. Like, we went
So,
off the rails here.
That's fine.
We didn't
we-
talk about anything tactical.
We talked about the loss of a sport.
Yeah, but
Which
that's,
I'm-
you
okay.
already covered it in the dumpster diaries.
So, okay, let's tie this back to something more tactical then. Okay. I guess I don't know what the older generations did as far as like hand-to-hand training, like back in like OG police academies. So if there's anybody out there who's like a history guy on that, that would be super interesting to me.
Shaw?
I'm saying like the origination, like the like
How they settled on it?
Yeah, NYPD. Like I get like training costs money.
Dustin? Maurer?
Maori, maybe, yeah.
Dustin, do you watch us?
If you watch the YouTubes, Dustin, if they have internet where you're located, let us know. Please don't drop out of the ceiling and kill me.
How would you want him to kill you? Ninjutsu or gun?
Ooh. He'd probably want to see the whites of my eyes after this comment.
Ninjutsu.
Yeah,
It's
it's
ninjutsu. It's
yeah.
ninjutsu. He's gonna
If
kill
you
us
see
both.
this,
He's gonna kill
it's
us.
fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I will die a probably not so honorable death, but
I'll tag you in a minute.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He would be a good person to have on.
He would be.
Yeah, I've seen. And now that he's retired, he's done podcasts.
Has he? Okay.
Oh yeah, you can see that wrinkled face. It's fine.
Dude, that man is the fountain of youth. How dare
I know.
you, sir?
I didn't say it was bad wrinkled.
He's aging like bourbon. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's like a fine wine. Okay. So, because yet again, something gets too big. So you have these, like most police forces back in the day were literally like, you're alive, you're the sheriff. And then there are larger cities that did form actual police forces and did formal training. And from what I understand, one of the first formal academies with like standards was NYPD, which is why one of the reasons they're revered and a lot of people use them as like some kind of model. I don't know what their training is today. I'm sure it's horrendous, but
Maybe. I mean, they got Henzo and Marcelo in the city, and Donna here.
But yet again, I mean, look who we have in our city.
Who are you referring to?
Just point to a gym and you have an amazing black belt or coach, like you know what I mean.
Dave Freitag runs it,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's
and
that's,
Ben Cook
yeah.
and Cameron, Sophia's husband.
That guy.
I married them. I cannot say his last name.
But right, okay, so that's like the blue chip academy.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like some of these other academies, like who do they have?
I went to a community college academy.
Right.
And like we had, our instructor was that Marine that like survived getting knifed.
Okay.
I told that story on one of the previous podcasts. But like his immediate like he was like backhand strikes and then elbows, and he's like neon belly's bullshit. And I said neon belly is not bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Henry Gracie thinks it's bullshit. We'll just stop right there.
I have no comment.
But what I'm saying is, so you have training costs money. So there had to be a point where training proficiency in hand-to-hand and stuff like that
do you think that they were just
over time.
Do you think they were just good bar fighters?
Maybe.
Like I don't.
Just some sturdy lads and some wooden clubs.
What I would think is you would had somebody who returned from military service.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk about PTSD. I want a uniform. rolls into being a police officer. You fought in the war. Here's a bunch of people who peaked in high school. Teach them how to fight. Like,
yeah, maybe.
And then he was like, well, when you hit him in the back of the head right here with the metal lead sap, they drop down and then they just talk real funny for the rest of their life. But that's good. Like, we can get him to jail. Like, I mean, I don't...
Probably. It
like,
probably wasn't anything... I mean, there are probably manuals out there that, like...
That would be a cool thing to put up. Get an old, like, police manual.
But yeah, like, if anybody out there who actually watches us, which I know it's not a huge audience... But I'm assuming we've attracted people that actually like wear uniforms and stuff a little bit.
Even if it's just to be like, that's not how I would do it.
Yeah, you can just talk shit to us. That's fine.
It's okay. I don't care.
But no, like maybe we need to like dip into that because that is something like, has it always been like it is now? Maybe.
And people just didn't talk about it?
Not just didn't talk about it, just didn't do it. Like they just figure, it's good enough. It'll be okay.
That is horrific that is actually the thing.
What, that it's good enough, it'll be okay?
Yeah. This is how we've always done it.
So
I took my academy. They said I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
okay. or security or whatever.
Here's one of the things in Ohio that I know for a fact because I had, this is anecdotally, there was a dude that worked at where we work now.
Okay.
And he said to become a police officer in Ohio, he bought a book, he read the book, took a test based on that book, got hired by a locale, and he was a cop.
When was that?
This would have been in the 70s.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So,
dude, so when I was hunting,
no academy.
So when I decided I wanted to be a police officer, I went to academy, and then you have a year to get commissioned before you have to go back to academy, right? And it got down to the wire, and I applied for like a Texas sheriff position.
Yeah.
And they called me. I had to apply by mail. They didn't have email. So they called me, and I was talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, you get down here, we'll give you the last sheriff's star, and the revolver that we've used since like the 40s." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And they were like, "Yeah, like every sheriff carries this revolver, and like we give you the bullets, and you have the original sheriff's star, and like you just come, like you kind of run the town." And I was like, and like we were kind of talking, and like it turns out like you get a pretty dope like ranch style house and a bunch of acres of land and some horses, and like you just kind of run the town. And
so you're like the sheriff, the postmaster, maybe the mayor a little bit, like here and there,
you just like you're in charge. And I was like, how much? What? Like, this is my first position. Yeah, nobody really wants this job.
You're like,
at the time I was married. Me and my wife are not moving to the middle of nowhere, Texas, and doing this.
Now you're like, when is that position open again?
I don't even know.
You're like, can you clean the blood off the badge first?
I was thinking the rust.
Yeah,
is the wheel gun gonna turn?
Yeah, you're like, can I just bring my own gun?
It's Texas. You can do whatever you want.
That's true.
And if I'm running the town, we didn't really make that anything tactical. We just told stories.
No, but so if you know, let us know about the history of like police training. Like, I assume outside of like you're saying, like they just hand you stuff. You're like, oh, you took some training somewhere, sweet. But then again, like you go back further, and it's like you had a book, you took a test, and it's like you based on proficiency on a test, and then you're like, you're a cop.
Yeah, isn't that scary? That's still how a lot of the world runs. Did you I just said this joke the other day. You don't know if your doctor passed with a 90 or a 70.
And even then, what does that mean? Ultimately,
What does it mean?
yeah, what does that mean? Like, so what if I get the guy with 90 and he's really good at taking the test, but he's not good at evaluating anything else?
Right. That's why,
maybe
like,
the guy that
dude,
got
you know
the
what I do?
70
You know what I
actually
do
has
now?
some skills.
Every time the doctor
Yeah.
says we're going to do something and they step out,
Yeah.
I'll grab a nurse and be like, "What do you think? What's your opinion on this?"
Yeah. Yeah. Like, unless the doctor can actually communicate information down correctly, and even then, just because they're nice doesn't mean they're a good doctor.
Yeah, great bedside manner does
Yeah.
not like. I've seen some doctors with great bedside manner. They're like, "All right, we're gonna give you some pills," and I said, "He just kicked me in the junk. He's not
Yeah.
getting a pill.
Yeah.
We're not gonna play this game. You give
Yeah.
him real medicine."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, like I'm the doctor. Cool. Got the charge nurse. The charge nurse went and got your boss.
Yeah.
And then we gave him a shot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like we should control stuff, but like there's an understanding of violence. If this patient attacked security
Are
officers,
you saying that our expertise or our 10,000 hours means something? You've never heard that
No.
that stupidity that
is
10,000 hours to be an expert?
do we have 10,000 hours?
Oh, yes.
We do.
Oh, well.
I have no concept of time.
How long were you in law enforcement?
13 years.
Okay, how long have you been fighting? Since
I'm
you were
37. So since I was 4.
4. Okay,
30.
right.
What is the math on that?
I'm not going to break it down on air because we'll instantly lose any interest. But yes, it's typically about 10 years to garner that amount of time in a field or something.
Okay.
So, like, just by sheer exposure, like, you and I both have it. Which is why, like, when I come into contact with somebody physically, like, yes, can I be better? Absolutely. But is there a feel that I have that's weird for my level? Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
It's because I've actually been in fights over and over and
Well,
over
and that's
and
the
over
other
and
one.
over
Like
again.
that's
Like,
the one that I see between like a lot of police officers or corrections officers that come into our field.
Yep.
And like we touch people damn near
all
daily. Damn
yeah.
near daily. Like some kind of physical interaction happens, and like to see these former police officers, former corrections officers, like I know that they know what to do, or I know that they can. They're capable, but they're not used to like you said, that contact to middle ground. Like they don't have that wave riding ability yet.
It's either like I need to back up and pull my gun, or this is nothing. And it's like, no, there's the middle ground is where we've said this before, but it's important to reiterate. The middle ground is where the most questions come, but it's also where the skills should be the strongest.
And it's where most of the work happens.
Right. That's what I mean.
Like-
And I mean, like, on the, like, because most police aren't doing that because they get questioned about those things. Yeah, you should. There should be questions, but you should be so proficient at every level of violence, including all the way out to, I'm not saying we go out and shoot people, but you practice with your firearm, but you also integrate that
Your
into
verbal
hands-on.
judo should be
Yeah.
sharp.
Yes.
And if you're not good at talking, why are you in this job? Where like you have to, sometimes you have to yell. Sometimes you need to be very quiet. Sometimes you need to change the inflection of your voice and so that you can get through to multiple people. Like it's being a
And
police
that
officer.
can happen second by second. You could literally, the same person, depending on what they're going through, could that verbal ability need to change that quickly.
Yes. And so like there's, I don't know, a 6-month academy just never seemed long enough to me for becoming a police officer.
I'm not even saying it's not necessarily even the length of the academy. It's the training after, the involvement and the requirement of the true blending of, like, let's take it back to the MMA idea. The true blending. It's like you can't just walk to the call with all your buckets. You should have a bucket of skills.
Yeah, and like
It should be like, I can pull this one out, this one, this one, this one. I don't need 20 buckets to be like, I gotta.
yeah,
set
but
all the
how do
buckets
you
in.
how do you even like invest in somebody like that on a simple foot pursuit? Like let's say like just talking logistics, because like that's my new thing is like getting overwhelmed by logistics of training.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is like you spend all this time like spending like investing in this person, and then while chasing a suspect they roll their ankle and snap their leg, and now they can't go out and patrol, right? So like now it's just wasted, right? So what do? You try to make them a trainer, right? But then you got all these like, I'm not gonna call them bad apples, but like bottom of the barrel, like they've got some mold on them, and they're like, oh, that looks like a cushy position, and I talk way better than that person. I'm going to go get injured and then ask to be a trainer.
Agencies, don't do that. I know. I'm nobody. But
I mean, I've seen it happen.
I know you've seen it happen. I haven't seen it happen where we are.
Okay.
Not in that fashion.
Okay. I mean, that's just one way, but I've seen that idea happen. Like, that looks cool. I think I should do that. But there's no...
I've seen that, but cool. How much work are you willing to put in is the follow-up question I always have.
I guess. I made myself sad.
Okay. Then we're done.
Stay whimsical. Stay combative.
Don't get sad.
If you are sad, do something about it.
Yeah, fight somebody.